What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first installment of our new podcast, It Ain't Great. Here today is myself, Tucker Sherman, and my cousin and co-host, Tell Red Lynn.
How are you doing today, buddy?
Man, just been trying to fight those winds. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, the wind just doesn't want to stop here, does it?
No, I mean, you think that it would bring some rain or something, but it just doesn't bring a damn thing.
No, not like you'd think, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was that a couple weeks ago. That damn storm we had. It was an inland hurricane.
Yeah, there were some crazy recorded winds out there they had out, like Wichita and stuff, the airport. Nuts.
Yeah. So you had to be saving some lives. Sounded like again.
Oh, yeah, just the old common idiot. Fell out of a chair. Had some back injuries.
Yeah, for our listeners, he's quite a Renaissance man. He's like a modern day Davy Crockett, but he also saves lives. Drives. He's a EMT and does some firefighting stuff.
Yeah, just some volunteer work up there around us. Yeah.
You've saved quite a few lives here the last few weeks.
I don't know about save lives, but yeah, we've had quite a few calls here. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, he's also a farmer, cowboy, truck driver. He can do any damn thing you want. Family man.
Yeah, try to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Are you good at any of them?
No, I wouldn't say I'm good at any of them, but I can hold my own.
Yeah. Well, here at the podcast, we're going to start off just kind of covering some Kansas material and just kind of see where it goes from there. What do you think about that, Tel?
It sounds good to me. What you got going for us?
Well, I'm going to start off a little bit hot, starting out here in Kansas.
All right.
So Kansas is a wild place, and it just keeps getting weirder, it seems like. What do you think, Tel?
Yeah, I'm getting worse, man. I kind of always used to like it because it's pretty quiet, but now the whole state's gone the other way, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, get a load of this. Some of our friends just right down the road from us here.
City are now upset about a man they say continues to walk through their neighborhood naked. Keenan Penn is in Arc City and spoke to those neighbors that are now saying enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Inside, you got the door open and you see this naked man walk down in front of your house.
People in our Kansas City react to a neighbor who
Is that Bigfoot? Are they sure that's a man? I think that's Bigfoot.
Dude, this is absolutely insane.
Yeah, this seems like something you'd make up. He's just walking down the street?
Yeah, and they won't do anything about it because they said he's not breaking any laws.
So they don't have like a, decent exposure law down there or what?
No, listen to...
try confronting the man, but saying nothing changes.
He told him to get out of his yard, that it was a free country and he'll do what he wants. But it wasn't illegal as well.
People then reached out to the sheriff about the issue, but were told that because the man was not aroused in any of the instances, there was no law.
Hold on. Hold the story right there. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
He said because he's not aroused, he's not breaking any laws.
Yeah, how could that be?
What? How is that where the law is written? I want to know who wrote that law. It was like, listen, if he's not happy about it, he can be naked.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Yeah. The guy that's doing it is weird. The guy that wrote the law is really messed up.
We need to get down to the bottom of that.
Yeah, I need to know that guy because I don't want to know that guy, but that's some weird stuff right there. That as long as he's not aroused, he's not breaking any laws.
What would you do in this situation?
Well, I mean, it would probably be just, go ahead and solve it yourself.
Yeah.
Probably be an ass kicking or two. May not stop him from walking naked down the street, but I promise he wouldn't do it down my street anymore.
What is going through this guy's head to make him want to do such a thing?
A lot of drugs, probably, be my guess.
You think he's got some meth?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he's got a little meth.
He looks a little heavier to be a meth addict, but he could be.
Yeah. Some of them old school meth addicts, they found a way to put a little weight on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they eat?
They just don't stop eating.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not good. Not good. When I saw this on the news the other day, I was like, what in the world?
What do we come to now? Like, one, why do it? But two, the fact the way the law is written, I can't get over that. That's got me.
Yeah. Wow. I think we need to go down there and find that guy and just ask him, what in the world?
That's what we should do. We should do an interview with that guy.
Yeah.
See what does arouse him. You know? So maybe we can get him thrown in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd be doing Arc City a favor.
I think we might screw around and become the mayor of Arc City if we find a way to get that guy in jail.
Get rid of that law.
Yeah.
Does it bug you that whenever they say Arc City, they always pronounce it Arkansas City or Arkansas River?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I never got it, I guess. But
Because it's not. It's Arkansas.
right. I guess that was some conceited thing maybe. I don't know, or someday they were like, it's actually our name is in it. But
I saw that some people said that Arkansas is pronounced like the French way that the French would pronounce it, and then Kansas is pronounced like the English way that the British would pronounce it.
well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, obviously there was a split in somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think that that's proper. To be honest with you.
No, I even as a Kansas resident, I think it's Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've always called it.
Yeah. So you had your daughter's first birthday yesterday. How's that feel to get over with?
I'm glad it's over. That's for sure. Had a lot of great people there. Really enjoyed it. She's got a lot of family, a lot of people that love her because they weren't there for me. I can tell you that. But everybody, listen. That's how it works once you become a dad. You're just a chauffeur now. Everybody's excited to see your kid.
It's got to be nice to kind of be let the kid be in the spotlight though, and you can just kind of be like, out of the way,
Yeah, no, I definitely like that. But there's a lot of people there, but
too many in your house.
yeah, we were hoping for nicer weather. Of course, we weren't gonna let that happen in Kansas to have a nice weather day when you need it, so we could do a little more outside. But
Yeah,
I think everybody got along all right. Seemed to be okay.
Are you gonna do the same thing next year?
Oh, I'm sure we'll do something similar. Yeah, do it again.
You don't want to go to like Chuck E. Cheese or something?
Listen, I've been wanting to go to Chuck E. Cheese since day one, but Mom says no.
What's her problem with it?
I don't know. You have to ask her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she said no to the Chuck E. Cheese thing.
Yeah, it was a great time though. It brought back some really great memories
Yeah.
of previous birthday parties, and nobody has birthday parties like that anymore.
No.
When you get up to our age,
Right. Nobody cares about our birthdays now.
like, can you imagine if you had a 30th birthday party and you did like the same exact thing, and everybody came to your party? You had like a slip and slide and a blow up pool and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a really good time,
I think that you should do it.
Other than it'd be October, be a little cold. But, yeah, I'm all for it. We'll play the old swimming pool kickball. That's a fun game. I really enjoyed that one.
I don't think I've ever played that.
You never played that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. We used to play, like, with JB and them. We always played in the summertime. We'd have a big party, and you get, like, plastic, and you put it between, the bases only be, like, 50 feet apart. Not even that far. 30 feet apart. And then you buy, it used to be the little $10 kiddie pools, and you fill them up with water, and that's the bases at all the corners. But then you put, like, Dawn dish soap and water on the tarps, so it's just slip and slides all the way to the bases. Like, you try to run on them, but you can't really run. But then you just play kickball.
Bet there's some pretty good wipeouts.
Yeah, it's good. It's real fun. You add a couple beers in there. It's a pretty good time. The fact that somebody didn't end up with like a broken wrist or an ankle or something at one is actually quite incredible.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like a good time for sure. Tell us a little bit about your geese and your ducks. What's the purpose behind them? Why you like them so much?
Oh, well, I like the ducks just because I like their eggs better. They're like a richer egg.
Mm-hmm.
Cool birds to have. The geese are more like a protector for the flock because they're kind of a massive bird. They're pretty mean. I got one now that he's meaner than any dog I ever had. He'll bite a hold of you and shake your leg, which is cool. I mean, most people don't like it, but I think it's cool. It helps keep away other predators.
Right.
I don't know that he'd like take a coyote on or anything, but like makes a raccoon or a possum think twice about messing with them for sure.
Do you think that you could ever train them to like come hunting with you and they could be like a living decoy?
Oh yeah, I think you could definitely train them to do that.
Why would they? Do you think that they would turn on their friends like that?
I don't know that they would know that they were turning on their friends. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things they didn't realize what was happening.
Right.
But you could definitely teach them to swim around out there and not fly away. And yeah.
I think you need to try it. That could be the next big thing.
See, I would try it, but I got this cousin that hunts with me all the time, and he gets a little trigger happy, and he might accidentally, accidentally shoot my pet goose, thinking it was a wild goose.
Is he just a little light in the head?
He maybe gets a little excited. One time he shot a decoy twice. The same decoy, he shot it twice back to back because he couldn't figure out why it wasn't dying. So makes me a little nervous about letting him around my pet goose. That's for sure.
Well, have you, with all of your animals, you've had a lot of animals in your life. I want to know if you've ever thought of this.
Okay.
Cute little dog you've got there. But hold on. In a previous life, he could have been George Washington. Nice cat. Perhaps Annie Oakley. And look at him. Why, it's Napoleon. Reincarnation. What human being was your pet in a previous lifetime?
My goose is definitely Napoleon. 100%, dude. He's got little man syndrome.
Just answer simple questions with your touch tone phone.
Imagine calling this guy.
For entertainment only, under 18, get permission.
Does he still... So hold on. He'll tell you who your pet was?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah. But this is from like 1997 or something.
Do you think he still answers?
Call him.
What? I mean, it's $1.95 a minute, but it's not till after he answers, right?
Probably.
I mean, we could try the number and just see what happens, huh? Because this is wild.
Have you ever looked at one of your ducks or your geese or your goats and thought, hey, there's a little bit more behind the snout or the beak on this animal?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it here. Believe it or not, the guy went out of business.
What a scam. Can you imagine people that really called into that and they're like, oh, there's something going on with this dog. This dog might be General Patton.
I'm feeling like this was a government-backed deal here.
This is some of that. It just went. Elon Musk just took it off the ringtone.
Yeah, he just closed them last week because this is about as bad as the 45 people they had employed to answer phone calls about how to turn your headlights on.
Yeah.
This is pretty bad here.
Let's watch it again, real quick. See if we're missing something.
Yeah, what do we miss?
Cute little dog you've got there. But hold on. In a previous life, he could have been George Washington. Nice cat. Perhaps Annie Oakley. And look at him. Why, it's Napoleon. Reincarnation.
Reincarnation.
Look at this guy.
Lifetime. Master reincarnation.
Look at this guy.
Dude. I think he just used that to kill people. Like that guy was a serial killer. He's like, let me come meet your dog. And he was just a serial killer.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
So, man, I really want to know how this worked now. You called him. He asked you a few questions about your animal, its history, its behavior, and he told you who it was in a previous life. Mm-hmm. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy has to have some serious skills to do that over the phone.
Over the phone, yeah, not even look at the animal.
And, I mean, under $2 a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a pretty good deal.
I would have definitely done it if I had a dog or a cat.
Yeah.
Or ducks.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he's got to say about my ducks. See who those are.
It's that's something you would do.
Well, I mean, you just want perfection out of people.
Yeah.
Not too hard to ask, is it?
Well, it is in today's society.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that guy right there is perfect.
Right. I mean, look at the mustache on him. The glasses, the haircut. He's working on a skullet there. I mean, that guy's got it going on.
And he's a genius.
Obviously, he has unbelievable talent.
Yeah, he really does.
Of recognizing historic figures.
Yeah.
In animals.
Yeah, I could have never even thought of something like that.
Do you think he ever, people called in and he would just, make up a name?
Yeah.
Like, they give him all this stuff and they're hoping that it's, George Washington or something is their dog. And he's like, that's Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
They're like, who's that? He's like, I don't know. Just what his name was.
Yeah. Joseph Smith's son. Who?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that guy. I just hope that before he went out of business, he really enjoyed his life because he did a major service to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think, and that might have been the problem. Is it was, you know, it's too good a service that he gave. You know, people could have got scared, ran him off.
Yeah.
Government might have,
They're
you
like,
know,
this guy, he's got something going on.
he's onto something here. You know, Hillary might have had to do a little something there. You know.
I think that we need to look up, see if he's still alive, and get Elon Musk to contact him. He could he could really help us.
He could be what we need to turn this deal around.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
he's got some insight for sure. You know, maybe it's not just with animals.
Maybe not. Did you see that all these people keying those Teslas all over the place? And there was that guy over in Wichita that had done it. And they caught him on camera walking out of like Texas Roadhouse or Olive Garden over there. And they arrested him.
Yeah, I don't know why Tesla would be especially like the Cybertrucks and stuff. There literally is not a vehicle that has more cameras constantly running on it and security than the Teslas.
And these are all the people that were, wanting electric vehicles
Right.
a year ago.
Oh, yeah, they were the ones that were pushing for it all, and now they're the ones that are destroying them because they don't like what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never understood that. And how many of these people do you think probably didn't even actually vote?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them.
You know, like if you don't like it, go make a change about it. Go try to do something. But I bet a high percentage of them, obviously I'm just making things up here, but didn't even vote. And now they're not happy. So this is the way they try to fix it, is with destroying other people's stuff.
Yeah. It's just society today.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Everybody just wants things given to them. And when it doesn't just get given the way they want it to, then they want to destroy other people's stuff.
Just run their keys along the side of the door.
Yeah. That make no sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, priorities.
Right. You got to do what you got to do. You know, one of these days, maybe we'll make some time for it.
We, for all our listeners, we also took a beautiful but deadly drive last weekend.
Yeah, we did. Sherman got him a new Jeep, so we went up in the hills, take it for a little stroll, and went off the little beaten path a little bit, place I'd been a few times, and unbeknownst to us, in the last couple weeks in a windstorm, power pole broke off, and we didn't see how low the power line was until it was almost too late.
Yeah, it would have fried us up good.
Yeah, we would have. It would have been good, that's for sure.
And the worst thing is the wind. Of course, the wind was coming 40 miles out of the south. So if we would have gone up and smoked, the rest of the Flint Hills would have burnt up.
Yeah, whatever they hadn't got burnt yet this year would have went ahead and been burnt.
They wouldn't have been able to stop it till it got to Lake Michigan.
It'd have made it quite a ways north, that's for sure. Yeah.
But saw some beautiful views and got to enjoy the scenery a little bit. That's always nice after a long, cold winter.
Yeah, I do. That's, here in about a week or two is about my favorite time of year. The weather kind of lines out a little bit. The wind's not near as bad, and things start to green up, and winter's finally over. Not yet, I don't know, but a couple weeks it'll be here. So
Yesterday was just brutal.
yeah, we got snow yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it didn't stick. It was just flurries in the air, but that's out of control.
Whenever the rain comes in, it always gets too cold and it just turns to snow, so we don't get any snow. But they got 7 inches or 8 inches down there in Arkansas and Missouri and down through there.
That's crazy.
What are those people doing? What kind of meth hillbilly rain dances are those people doing that we can't get going up here?
I don't know, man. Guess we're not living right.
Yeah.
Those guys is living on the meth. They live right.
Maybe we're being punished.
Maybe.
This next story that I'm about to pull up.
Okay.
Did you see about the Satan worshipers up in Topeka?
No, I have not seen that yet.
From MSN, Satanist leaders attempt to hold Black Mass in Kansas State House sparks chaos and 4 arrests.
Well, there was 4 arrests because there was only 4 people there.
Yeah. Topeka, Kansas. The leader of a small group of self-described Satanists and 3 other people were arrested Friday following a scuffle inside the Kansas State House arising from an effort by the group's leader to start a black mass in the rotunda. About 30 members of the Kansas City area Satanic Grotto, led by its president Michael Stewart, rallied outside the State House for the separation of church and state. The group also protested what members called the state's favoritism towards Christians and allowing events inside. Governor Laura Kelly temporarily banned protests inside just for Friday, weeks after Stewart's group scheduled its indoor ceremony.
I mean, again, what are we doing here?
Do you think that Governor Kelly just came out with like a cross and a rosary and just started like waving it at him to get out of there?
Maybe. That would have been good watching. Just start hitting them with a little holy water, and they start screaming and hollering and getting out of there.
Is that what you would have done? Would you have gotten like an exorcist up there to help, or
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. You know, that's the only thing you can do with the devil is you got to...
maybe E. David Scott?
E. David Scott, he might have known something. You know, he might have had a little insight.
Maybe he would be reading that these people, he can read backwards. He's like, this guy was a chinchilla in his past life, or this guy was a llama.
Right,
That's
yeah.
where his brain capacity's at.
Right, maybe that's it. Maybe he can measure the size of his brain or something and tell you what he was. You know, that guy was a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously has a pea-sized brain.
Do you think that the chickens are capable of having past lives, or they're not even?
I feel like if they do, like, they're the last. Like, if there's reincarnation, like the 10th time you've been reincarnated, like, that would be the chicken. It'd have to be the last one.
Yeah, I always thought it'd be like an earthworm or something.
I mean, they're pretty similar.
What is with these people when they're like they got worm farms or they got pet rocks, or how lost do you have to be in life to want to have one of those things?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's pretty far down there. I mean, that's rock bottom. If you carry a rock around in your pocket, I think. You know, it's named. Talk to it.
Yeah, whoever came up with that is a genius and is kind of a psycho.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there that you know, has one as their what's the word I'm looking for? Their companion, their what you can take on the airplane and stuff.
Oh yeah, their emotional support rock.
Emotional support rock. That's what I was looking for.
That I think we need some emotion. More people need emotional support rocks.
Yeah, and then that way, when you start to lose it, you can just throw it. You know, and that'll help you feel better, probably.
Yeah,
and it's not your fault. He was flying away. He just, you know, he got mad and he flew away.
Tell what possesses people to want to get like pet anacondas or boa constrictors or things of that nature?
I don't know. It's not me. I can tell you that. I don't want no part of any snake, any reptile in my house.
Have you ever met anybody that liked to have those types of things around?
Yeah, I've met a couple. They're a little different for sure. But, you know, to each their own. But it's not me.
They had boa constrictors?
I don't know about boas, but they had a lot of snakes. But, yeah, no.
They just let them crawl around the house?
Yeah, that was kind of the thing, man. They just let them stretch their legs because, you know, their cages weren't big enough for them.
Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, at work, this guy told me that one of these guys used to have a really big snake, and they were like, yeah, we don't know where it's been for like 2 days.
I can tell you, if I find it, I'm going to hand it back to you in pieces. That's what's going to happen there. Mm-hmm. One hand will have its head, and the rest will be its body. You can have it back that way.
Are you more scared of boa constrictors or snakes like that, or of ghosts?
Oh, definitely the snakes, man. I mean, now, I seen a skinwalker one time. That's a totally different critter. I don't want to mess with that ever again.
You saw one?
I am 99% sure, dude. What I saw was not natural.
Up in Colorado?
Nope. It was right up Perk Cassidy.
No way.
Yeah. It was wild, dude.
Up at the Helling?
No, it was actually over at Kyle's house. It was on his front porch.
No.
Yeah. We were sitting there in his house, and it was after dark one night, and the dogs started going crazy, and they never do. And they were like on the porch, like up by his front door, going crazy, and they never do. And so we stepped out there, and we just had a flashlight, and we're like shining this flashlight like out in front of the door, you know, like not seeing anything. And then we just happened to like we didn't see anything, and we were out there for like a minute or two, and we're like, huh, must be nothing. And still had the light on, and we turned to go back in the door, and not like 20 feet away at the end of the concrete down there was in the shape of a coyote, but it had it was like a yellow tingish color to its eyes, and they were like big, and it was just standing there looking at us. And it like got up almost on its back feet and then took off running.
Like back to the north, or
It went back south, like towards like where my house is now.
you're living with a damn demon down there.
Dude,
somewhere.
I'm not kidding you. Kyle swears to this day, same thing.
When was this?
It was last winter. Yeah. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. Like, that coyote was on the porch with us, like, not 50 feet away from us for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. We didn't know he was there, but he was there. And and when you shine the light on it, didn't look right. It wasn't right. It wasn't like it was sick, but it was off. And, like, it almost, like, naturally wanted to get on its hind feet, but it didn't. And then it was weird.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Kansas had a penchant for the cryptids.
Yeah, so skinwalker thing, that's totally different. I don't mess with them at all, but I would take a ghost to my house over like a genuine ghost over my house than I would a boa.
Yeah. What about a skinwalker versus a boa?
I'd probably take the boa. Dude, them skinwalkers, that's a completely different thing, man.
Well, what is it?
It's like they consider them like an old native. The skinwalker was an old native term for like a shapeshifter. They're weird, dude. It's a weird thing. It's like a demon like spirit, but they say it can take any shape. And there's a lot of stories people like hearing them like screaming like people. Like you think you hear somebody or something, and you go over like the hill and there'll be a deer standing there or a coyote standing there or something. Yeah.
Do people up in the mountains, up in Colorado, talk about them?
Not so much. There's a few guys or whatever, but after that, Kyle, he has a buddy that's his family. He's very native. He's very rich in his native history and stuff. And he says that the only way you can kill a skinwalker is with an ash covered gun. So you have to you're supposed to bless your gun with ash, like of a fire. Like I'm telling you, it's legit. Like they think it's a legit thing. Like it's a real deal.
What did Kyle, the homeowner, what did he think?
The next day, he blessed all his guns in ash.
He blessed them?
Yeah.
Is he permitted to do that?
I don't know how permitted, who you got to be, but he went ahead and took the precautionary. If he can do it, he's gonna do it.
I think you guys might need to run up to like Wounded Knee or somewhere and get some shaman to come down here with you and
Get it like a true medicine man to come down and.
That's scary shit.
And then he got really messed up after that because his daughter, not intentionally like messing with him, hung it was a turquoise bracelet that she had. She was just doing something and she took it off to like keep doing what she was doing, and she hung that turquoise bracelet up in the tree so it like wouldn't get dirty, and then forgot about it. And then like 3 days later he came home and he just saw that turquoise bracelet like hanging in the tree. Dude, he called me in a full panic, man. Oh yeah. It was like a week later she was like, yeah, I put that there. I was like, dude, you got some problems if
He really thought that the skinwalker took her?
No, he didn't think he took it, but he thought the skinwalker came back and was like threatening him by hanging the turquoise in the tree, like, hey, I'm still watching you kind of stuff.
Don't they call them like Wendigos or something too?
Yeah, different tribes got different names for them or whatever, but
I never, man, did that deter you at all from wanting to buy your house?
no, it didn't back me down. No, I guess they say like they'll stay committed to a certain area. I mean, I guess I'm not that far from him, but it's not as wooded over there at my house as it is.
Yeah, now he got rid of that place, so.
Yeah. I don't think the skinwalkers are gonna leave him alone though.
Do you think he just has like a curse on him or something?
I don't know. Maybe there was something bad. Maybe a little, little tribe of Indians was killed there a long time ago on that ground. I don't know.
How do you know that they weren't there for you?
Well, I don't know that they weren't there for me, I guess, but I haven't had any problems with them.
Yeah, you respect them. You respect the skinwalkers.
Right, I understand them.
This says that a skinwalker or a Wendigo is believed to be malevolent witches who can shapeshift into animals, often coyotes or wolves. They are feared for their ability to cause harm.
Yeah, see? It's like a witch or a demon-like creature.
I was figuring that down there at your old house would be a prime place for one of those type of critters.
Yeah, there could be. I don't know, man. I've never seen one down there like I did there. That was crazy.
What do you think that you could see like a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch down there on the Durakan?
No, I think if he was down there, we'd have found him by now. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool place down there.
You and your cousin that shot the decoy?
Yeah, we've done some exploring down there. We'd have found him.
Do you think he would have roped him or something?
He definitely would have tried. I don't know if it would have worked for him, but that would have been his first thought, was to try to rope him, for sure.
Yeah, man. I think that a lot of people go up to Atchison to do haunted houses.
Yeah, there's definitely some up there, I know for sure.
And one of the people I know went up there and started like moving around like some of the trinkets and stuff in the house. And he said not long after that, some weird stuff started happening in his house.
Oh, so they followed him home.
They must have followed him home, dude.
That's why you don't mess with those guys, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never really been a believer in the paranormal, but I don't know. Some people got some. They say they see some stuff, just like you in that story. I've never like doubted anybody that they've seen it,
Right.
or what they thought they saw, or whatever. I've always entertained that thought. I've just never myself, and I hope I never have something
Right.
like that, but.
Yeah, it's something we've always joked about, about that kind of stuff. But after you see something like that, you're like, I can understand why people believe in this. And especially if you think about 150 years ago when there was no, especially in this country, right? There was no science really, no proof of what anything was, right? You tell me you saw what I saw, that the only way you could explain it is if it was something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it's not as true as they say, maybe, but it's some weird stuff for sure.
Would you rather go hiking in the Appalachian Mountains or what else? Go look for the Lost Dutchman's gold in Arizona.
I think I would do the hiking thing. That would be me.
Because they say that a lot of people are go disappear on that trail, and there's always people talking about skinwalkers and shit like that on that trail too.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's, I think there's a bunch of them there, but I would prefer that. I don't know about the Dutchman's deal.
Yeah, they say that's more like aliens.
Yeah. Arizona, I don't really want to go out there.
Do you feel that the paranormal lies more in like the spiritual world or more in the scientific world?
I think it's more spiritual for sure. Even all the the guys that chase them and stuff, and they got all this technology, and it never catches them. You know what I mean? You hear something and it doesn't even register on their $1 million piece of equipment or whatever.
I think that we should get your friend that owns the property with the Skinwalker, you and me and a few others. We go out to Skinwalker Ranch, Joe Rogan, go see if we can find it.
Yeah, dude. I've seen some stuff about that. That place is crazy. I really don't want any part of it.
What's wrong with that place? I've never really looked into it.
It's some kind of I don't know how to explain it exactly. I don't know all the details to it either, but it's some kind of ancient burial ground for witches or some crazy thing like that. And so it's their breeding ground. They're supposed to be everywhere out there.
Is that the only paranormal experience you've ever had, or have you seen others?
I would say that's the only one that I'm definitely confident in was that one, but I've been in some places, seen some stuff that was odd. It didn't make sense.
You've just felt a presence.
Yeah, especially like, there's a couple times in the mountains, you feel some things. Could be a mountain lion for all you know, like, but it's weird for sure.
That's what I've always heard. I always heard my dad say out in western Kansas, sometimes he would be like filling a deer feeder or something out in the boys' pasture or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he just knew there was nobody for miles and miles, but you just always have that feeling that somebody's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I know that's what it was, because you could go sometimes and, that sandy soil, you'd see their tracks and
Yeah.
some of it. He's like, I know that there was one on a damn bluff somewhere looking over at me or something. That's what it
Yeah.
had to have been.
I had one time when I was guiding a guy. We were quite a ways back in there, a couple miles, and he shot an elk right before dark. And I'd kind of felt weird the whole time we were going in there, and it's kind of a gnarly spot we were getting into, and it felt like I said same thing. Kind of felt weird, but I was just sometimes your conscience will get you like right before dark. You're like, this is when bad things happen to anybody. We can make a mistake right here, and get stuck out here overnight or something, And so I just kind of assumed that was my conscience leaning on that, like don't screw up here, We get the elk killed and get everything taken care of, and I just told the guy, I said, you stay right here. I'll go back and get Buggy and I'll come get you. So it's gonna take me, it's gonna be a while. I said, but don't go anywhere, like I know where you are right now. Don't leave this spot. And so I start walking back, and it snowed like the day before, maybe. Pretty fresh. Like, it wasn't super fresh snow, but not a ton of tracks in it. It's day-old snow. And we're walking back, and I get, like, not quite halfway back to the buggy, and you got to cross this big draw, like cottonwood draw, basically. You got to cross it. And I get down to the bottom of this draw, and a mountain lion had cut our tracks and was following us back up through there. I just saw where he cut our tracks, and then I got to look I shined my flashlight like 20 feet to the side, and I could see his tracks going the way we were going. He was behind us that whole time. And so then I was like, that hunter's in trouble now, And so I actually took off running the last mile or so back through there, ran all the way back to the buggy. And I got there, and that guy, to this day, that guy has no idea that happened. He never saw a line. I never said nothing to him. I never saw the tracks once we got close. I don't know if, like, when he shot that elk, it scared that lion off. He was closer than we thought, and he took off. I don't know. I never cut his track again, but
Did he hit the elk?
yeah, he hit the elk.
Did you
Killed
find
the elk.
it?
Yeah, we found the elk and everything, and everything was fine. But yeah, we cut a lion track coming out of that place.
Oh man, that had
Yeah.
to have, you had to have had a little trouble sleeping that night.
Yeah, you definitely think twice about what you're doing out there for sure.
Damn. What do you do? Like, if you're out there alone and one comes across you, what do you do?
So they're really protected, extremely protected. You can't just shoot them. They even say, the game wardens say, that if you shoot a lion without a tag and all that, you better have scratch marks on you when I get there.
Oh, that's Colorado for you.
Yeah. So, best thing to do is, warning shots and things like that stay legal if you see one or in a spot like that. A lot of times they will run. Big thing is if you get between female and her kittens. That's about the only time you really super concerned about it. But
Can't people? There's always videos of people hiking, and they'll come across them like in Utah or something, and they just have to get big and start yelling at them. And those mountain lions, they'll act like they're gonna come, but then they'll kind of back off a little bit.
yeah, you can try to bluff them like that. That's really the safest thing to do. I mean, they're just it's just like your house dog or your cat. If you turn and run from them when they're feeling froggy, they're just gonna run you down. You definitely can't run from them. You got to try to stand your ground.
We see quite a bit of some of them on trail cameras out north of town here. Found them there on my grandfather's place there north of town, across the river.
Yeah.
And it's always made me think twice about just walking back in there someday.
Yeah, I think there's more around than they say. Even Division of Wildlife won't say that there's any around until you can't prove they can't say otherwise,
Why can't the what is in like the high country, like the mountains, the high plains, places like that, for elk that they don't like here?
A lot of it is like summer temps. They're they used to be, they say like Western Kansas 200 years ago, they came off of that side of the mountain. Like they would be up on the high country in the summer like they are now, but they came this way. I don't know if it was population or what. I know like the rancher where we hunt now, which is like it is one of the main corridors. It's like the most traveled migration path in northwest Colorado. The ranch that we hunt on, it's in the mecca of where this certain herd of elk will migrate. They're called the Bear's Ear elk. And he can remember when he was 18, so that would be like, I think he said he was like 16, 17, 18, something like that. He was a teen. And he's like 80 now, I would say. I don't know his exact age, but he's about that old. Late 70s, early 80s. He says he can remember when he was a teen being up on a snowmobile up there on that place, and he saw the first elk ever up there. And he said that he came down and told his dad, he said there was an elk up there on the mountain, and he says, no, there's no elk up there. And he says, yeah, there was. And he says, no, the elk don't come this way. And he said that he had an elk tag for his unit, so he went and got it and shot that elk, and he brought it home. And he said, see, Dad told you there was an elk on this mountain. And he thinks he's been there all of his life, and he thinks the reason that the elk come where they do now is because of all the national forests and stuff up there, and the snowmobile trails and everything have forced them to the west instead of east like they used to go.
Mm.
They don't travel they'll still travel 80 or 100 miles, but back then, they traveled even farther. But I think population, Fort Collins and Denver and all that stuff is on the eastern side of the mountains. And just all the population in between, I think that forced them west, and there's not much population west. And so they started just figuring it out. The feed's not as good that way, but they just wanted to be away from people.
Yeah.
So
I think they need to maybe replace those elk, maybe, take them somewhere else and just put wild horses up there in the mountains.
yeah, I think that's a pretty bad idea. The horses can go somewhere else. I'm over the horse deal.
Why not? They should introduce some of those wolves out here.
Yeah. Yeah, get rid of our wild horses too. But wild horses are bad out there too. But
How did they populate? They just got away from, the Spaniards or something, and
Yeah,
they just started.
they've been out there a long time. But yeah, that's kind of what, it's just a handful of horses got away here or there, and a handful got away here or there, and couldn't get caught, and we ended up where we are now.
Yeah.
They used to be able to. There used to be there's several ranches. There's a couple big ranches out there now that they started by catching those wild horses. Like there's like 3 brothers out there that they have a pretty good sized ranch now, family ranch out there. Now this is 150 years ago or whatever. Back then, their generations, they started catching those wild horses. But then that got outlawed, and then the horse market went, no more killer horse market in the United States, and so there was no use for old horses anymore. And
Right.
so people just started dumping them. People, old Joe Smith that lived a quarter mile out of town that had a horse and didn't need it anymore, he just kicked her out. And so now that's where we are.
It's crazy. You think too, like I always heard that Johnson grass was because the Union soldiers, when they were going to the South, they planted them for their horses to eat. It was some shit weed that they had. They brought it over somehow from England,
Mm-hmm.
and they started sowing it down there in the South, and now, hell, it's all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's a pretty similar story, that it grew so well so fast that they used it like what we would use oats for now or whatever, try to sow it, get quick feed.
What's everybody so pissed off about these Bradford pears for? I don't really know anything about trees, so.
I don't know the story behind the Bradford pears. I really don't. It's an invasive species of obviously some kind, but I don't know why. I don't know what. I don't know if it's just because they grow so well or what it is. But yeah, they got a bounty on them.
Don't they stink?
Yeah, they do smell bad. They're the ones that are the white blooms right now.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of smell like rotten fish to me.
They're kind of a pretty tree, but
I think they're cool. I know some guys that got a couple of them, and they refuse to turn them in because they like them so much. Because you're supposed to be able to call the state, and they'll come out and pay you for them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
To
Cut them down. They got a bounty on them.
Yeah, I saw somebody like for the news or something, or some horticulturist from K-State posted on Facebook and was like, if you see one of these growing, smother it.
Yeah, no, I know they got, like I said, I don't know what the price is anymore, but it was a couple $100 for everyone that, if you had them on your property, they'd pay you for.
Yeah.
They'll come cut them.
According to AI on Google, you're very right. Due to their invasive nature, weak branch structure leading to frequent breakage and the unpleasant, often compared to rotting fish or urine scent of their flowers.
There you go. That's so. I guess it's just because they're invasive. I mean, I don't know what makes them invasive, but
Yeah, I mean they're about like those damn cedar trees.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like anything. You use it right. Cedar tree, you know, is a windbreak and stuff like that's fine. But once they start in your pasture, Jiminy Christmas, you can't hardly get ahead of them anymore.
Yeah, you just got to basically light it up and try to light some of them up, you know.
Yeah, multiple years in a row. Sometimes you'll burn them the first year and doesn't burn them off, but it'll kill them. And then the second year, you can get them killed.
It's really disheartening to see some places around here that maybe it's sold to some other outfit and they don't really take care of their stuff, and now it's just a damn cedar tree forest.
And some of it is even these guys coming in buying all this hunting land. They want it to be all woolly and nasty, and some places that have been great pasture for people that they've just purposely let them get bad like that. Sad to see.
Maybe that's why the skinwalker's hanging out up there.
Might be.
He's like, you got to get rid of these.
He doesn't like what you've done to his native land.
Yeah, he's like the crying Indian with the trash from the 70s. Remember that commercial?
Yeah, he's like a real Lorax. Like he's like like a reverse Lorax. He wants all his trees cut down. Take it back to the native grass.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's crazy. That's just. Yeah, there's definitely some things out there that are unexplainable. Speaking of monsters, did you hear about this up at Great Bend?
I saw a little something about this, man.
This is from KWCH 12. Wichita, Kansas. A child's complaint of a monster under the bed led to a child endangerment arrest in Barton County. As the children were being put to bed, one complained there was a monster under the bed. When the woman attempted to show the child there was nothing under the bed, she came face to face with a man who was hiding there. An altercation ensued, and one child was knocked over during the struggle. The suspect fled before deputies arrived.
What is going on?
Dude, there's some bad juju in the state of Kansas right now, huh?
Yeah, and I saw the one I saw said that he was a former resident of that place.
Yeah, that's what it says. It said who once lived at the home but was under a protection from abuse order to stay away from the property. I don't know what that means, and the article kind of cuts off there. But
Yeah, I don't get the whole story there, but still, that's nuts. How long do you think that guy was hiding under there?
dude, those are the scariest stories to me. When there's people that are like hiding in the crawl spaces or living in closets or shit, and
Right.
it could be forever.
Yeah.
It could be a month or two before people find them.
The one I saw one time where they thought they had like raccoons in their attic for like a couple months, and they finally went up there and there was like 2 people just living up there.
Dude, that would be so scary.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there was this one pretty famous case from back in the 80s sometime. Like in California, there was this kid that was mentally unwell, and he was like living in their basement, living in these people's basement, and the girls, like their mom had just died or something, so they got one of those Ouija boards and were like messing with it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden when this guy crawled in there and was doing stuff, so they thought that it was like they'd like haunted their house.
Oh, jeez. Talk about scare yourself, huh?
Yeah, dude, I've never even seen one of those things. Have you seen one of those things?
The Ouija board?
Yeah.
No, not in real life. I don't want to. I don't need it.
That would bring some skinwalkers to town.
Yeah, maybe we should, for Kyle's birthday, we should buy him a Ouija board, dude. Not tell him or nothing. Just make him open it in his own house like it's already there, buddy.
Oh, dude, yeah. If he's listening to this, he's gonna love it.
Yeah, he's not gonna be real happy with me at all. We always do have like a gag thing for Christmas. Maybe that's what I'll get him.
Ooh, can you get him like on Amazon?
I'm sure, yeah, you can get him anywhere.
Dang.
Maybe there's some witch store over in Wichita or something. We can go.
There's a warlock walking around town here. Have you seen him going to lunch or anything?
No, I haven't.
There's some guy walking down the street over here. He's got like a cape and a wizard's hat on about every day.
Dang.
Just blowing in the wind.
You think he knows some spells?
I hope.
That'd be cool, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe we should make friends with this guy. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Maybe he does. Take him up there and see if he senses any dark.
Maybe he can get rid of the skinwalkers.
Maybe he can get rid of the skinwalkers and he can go talk to your animals and see if they're got something going on with them.
Maybe he can tell me who they were reincarnated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see your cats were maybe like the Wright brothers or something, or
Maybe that's why he keeps jumping off the roof.
Thomas. Yeah, one of them was like Thomas Edison. That's why it's always like messing with light bulbs or something like that.
I mean, maybe that's what it is, you know.
And yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but
I think you're onto something though. I think you just need to keep accumulating animals, and you get some goats back.
no, the goats aren't coming back.
What do you think that the goats had any type of intelligence behind them?
No intelligence, zero. They were all escaped convicts. That's what they had to be, because those things could get out of anything.
Yeah.
The old story's true. If you got fence for goats and you can pour water through it, goats getting out.
Yeah, those were a bit of a pain to you, weren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of a hassle for sure.
Damn it. We don't really get what we want. We just get bad things.
If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have luck at all, man.
I hope that just talking about this stuff isn't bringing some bad juju into my house.
Yeah, maybe I can send them your way.
No,
you
don't
said
even
you never
say
seen
that.
them. No.
Don't talk about that.
Well, I'll give them directions next time I see them.
Yo, no, man. Tell anything else before you want to go?
No, man. Hopefully the weather stays nice this week.
Yeah. It's been a little rough here
Yeah.
lately. It's been a rough. It feels like a long winter.
It feels like, just about time we start getting it figured out. We get another cold day like yesterday.
Yep. And then next week it's going to be like 90.
Yeah.
And they're talking a couple weeks before some more rain.
That's not good. We need the rain.
We do. We need it. Well, the pod today wasn't terrible, but what was it?
Wasn't great.
It ain't great.
It ain't great.
It ain't great. Yeah. Y'all stay safe out there. Stay away from them damn demons hanging out in your yard.
Don't get them skinwalkers.